All right, the point blank tonight. Our borders need to be protected. There are at least 11 million people living here illegally. You know, I actually think that's a pretty low number. Here's the thing. It's not racist to expect a nation to protect its borders. Every nation on earth does it. And what's unfortunate, this has somehow become an issue of race. No one's trying to keep anyone out of this country because of race. But I want you to do something for yourself on this, because Felipe Calderon and the Mexican government have been giving us lecture after lecture. Read the Mexican Constitution. Read just how restricted it is on immigration and naturalization. Read about how the Mexican military is on their southern border. Read about the way they police illegal immigrants in their country. Read about Brazil and Paraguay. Read about how Latin American nations do their own border security, because you know what? It's the opposite of how we do it. Now, since the White House isn't concerned about protecting our borders, you've got states like Arizona and Georgia that have come up with their own laws. In Arizona's case, the White House challenged the law and took it all the way to the Supreme Court, which struck down parts of the bill. Now Arizona Governor Jan Brewer is appealing a state court ruling on one of the law's provisions, which bars police officers from questioning people suspected of harboring illegal immigrants. The governor joins us live tomorrow for a 1-hour special on what illegal immigration really looks like, and you don't want to miss that. Now, joining me now is Dan Stein. He's the president for the Federation of American Immigration Reform. Hi, Dan.
Great to be here.
I was just talking about the Mexican Constitution and their immigration and naturalization process, the fact that they do have their military on the border, the fact that Latin American nations police themselves way tougher than we do. And for some reason, when dealing with those countries, it's not all about being Latino. It's only when we talk about the United States.
Well, look, we have 200 years of tradition of being a nation of laws, and I think your viewers probably are beginning to suspect that there's an agenda going on here. We have a political party right now, the Democratic Party, that has completely aligned itself with the position of border anarchy, no borders, maximize immigration by any means necessary, because voting skews so heavily Democrat that the party institutionally has abandoned the traditional labor protection components of that party's platform in favor of vote packing.
Yeah, for the life of me, I don't understand that, because if you're coming to this country from another country that might not respect the rule of law the way we do, or private property the way we do, or the right to enrich oneself the way we do, why would you want to bring all the bad ideas and all of the anarchy with you if that's why you're leaving in the first place?
Well, let's see, the reason people want to come here is because they believe America works. They believe that our system of justice means that you get what's coming to you in terms of judicial process and the various rights under the Constitution, that if you get stopped for a speeding ticket, you're not going to be bribing your way out of it with police officers, or you're going to have an impartial system of justice. What the president has done in his Rose Garden announcement a couple of months ago of saying that he can't get Congress to pass an amnesty bill, so he's going to declare one, is to basically upset the balance of power and usurp the prerogatives of Congress and declare himself a dictator. That he can just rewrite the immigration laws and say in the Rose Garden, I think it's the right thing to do, and that's why we're doing it. That's the language of a demagogue. That's the language of tyranny. And people need to understand right now in California that Governor Brown has on his desk a bill, AB 1081, that would actually abolish the requirement for state enforcement officers to hold illegal aliens or aliens convicted of very serious criminal felonies. We're talking violent criminal felonies. This bill, AB 1081, is a hallmark example of how this administration is creating lawlessness and anarchy in the defense of illegal immigration by the millions. It is costing our states. All you got to do is look at the major states now that have had massive amounts of illegal immigration in the last 20 years. They are going bankrupt. Their schools are dysfunctional. Their healthcare system, hospitalization. What we see is a radical far-left administration.
Well, Dan, let me jump in on that part of it, because it just struck me. The Democrats had control of the House and the Senate for the first part of Obama's term.
Right.
How come he didn't circumvent the Constitution then? How come he didn't force Nancy Pelosi to stand up for the House of Representatives? How come it's only after John Boehner's the Speaker of the House, who, by the way, kind of stinks when it comes to standing up for the Constitution and his chamber? That's a whole other issue. But it's funny how It's funny how he made it a political football after the Republicans took over the House.
Right. Well, look, the president said repeatedly, I do not have the constitutional authority to declare an amnesty. He said this over and over again. Basically, the president is disrespecting Latino voters. That's the operative word, disrespect, because he suddenly decided 6 months before the election, oh, hey, maybe I do have the authority to just ignore the law and give out these illegal documents. And then he starts running ads on Spanish language TV saying, hey, you got to vote for me because I'm a friend of the Latino voter. It is ultimately the left wing that is condescending and paternalistic in claiming to speak for this alleged Latino voting bloc and cynically using immigration benefits to try to, basically manipulate an electorate. I mean, how stupid, how silly do they believe Latino voters are that they're going to fall for this kind of what is essentially graft of using immigration benefits to buy votes?
All right.